So, folks, I've got with me a very interesting woman. Your first name is Elena, that much I remember. And you're the producer and also band member of the Sling Girls.
The Sling Sisters, yeah.
Thank you. So, tell us about the group and when you guys actually... I know you crossed in different circles and eventually you met, but we'll start with you. When did you actually start developing your musical prodigy in regards to becoming one of the band members?
So we actually all it started to get really intense during COVID, of course, because during COVID there were no gigs and there was nowhere to play and go. And then just post-COVID, when we met into Kelly, that's kind of where it started, the concept began. The harmonies, the actual sound of the voices together is what drove the project. Mm-hmm. So when we realized the magic or what could possibly happen when we started to sing, and it came out of nowhere, then it started to really push towards what the vision of this band was going to be and what the sound was going to be.
And in the band, from what I remember seeing on YouTube, you sing. Is that do you play a musical instrument as well?
Yeah. So in this band, depending on what day I was going to say, which is kind of true, typically in this band, I play bass and guitar and cajon, and I sing.
Okay.
Not all at the same time. I'm not that talented. Okay. But for the recording, because I had access to so many musicians from around the world, and I totally respect talent, I just do, and the flavor that people bring to a project when it's not just you. I've done those too, where it's all me, and it's I'm not Stevie Wonder. I can get it, but I can't do that. And so when I had the opportunity, so on the record, I play some acoustic guitar, almost all the acoustic guitar. And then I leave the rest of the instrumentation to the musicians that we hired for the tracks.
Okay. Now, the other band members that you typically have are who?
So Susie, there's three of us. There's me, Susie, and Kelly. Kelly sings. Susie plays guitar and sings. And then, like I said, I sing and I play guitar and whatever.
No all at once.
Not all at once. I knew you'd like that. And then we now have put up a 7-piece band. Like the maximum we can do is a 7-piece band. I think actually we could go 8-piece too if we wanted to, because I really want to have a multi-instrumentalist that'll play cello and lap steel, but I digress. Budgets are tight. We don't often have that opportunity.
Yeah.
So we've been running as a 5 and a 6. So that would be instrumentation is the three of us plus a rhythm section, a electric guitar player, and a keyboard player.
That's quite a lot. The fact that you pull it together is actually even doubly so. Now, the whole point of me actually reaching out to you was because of your new album that you guys just released. So when did you guys actually sit down to actually put it together? Because I know there's a process. It's almost like 2 years prior, writing the songs, fleshing them out, working together to actually have some sense of rhythm, some sense of music, some lyrical. But when did you guys actually, I'm assuming probably sitting in an actual studio to do the process?
Yeah, that's a great question. So it actually started about 2.5-3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the tracks are recorded in weird places, like not like in the bathroom. Although that would be interesting in the shower. Never mind. But
you say that, but you auditioned for his role in House in an airport bathroom.
Yeah. I get that, and it would be interesting, but I don't know how we'd fit us all in there. Now, of course, I want to do a video of us in a bathroom. I was actually in a hotel recently where the bathroom was bigger than my apartment, but whatever.
Oh, okay.
So, a lot of the vocals are recorded in Susie's living room. I have a home studio recorded there. A lot of the tracks were sent to me, so it's a remote recording over Zoom,
okay.
And the tracks are sent over, which is brilliant, because a lot of the players are, UK, New York, Ukraine, Brazil. Like, so we would get on Zoom and we would go back and forth, and then they would send me the whole project, and I would drop it into my Logic file.
Okay.
And then the mixing itself started in my house, and then we ended up going to Danforth Creative Commons. They have a massive studio there, a really nice studio. So I mixed the record there, and then it went to mastering. So the whole thing, all told, was probably about 3 years. It also, it started off with me saying to the girls, over the kitchen table, hey, we should really probably get a recording of this because this is working out really well. Let's just record the 3 voices, and I'll do it really old school with a single microphone in the middle and maybe some other, periphery microphones. Mm-hmm. And they're like, yeah, that sounds great. And then, you don't know me, but when you let me loose, when it comes to audio, because then it was, I think we should have probably, let's get some electric guitar, let's get some cello, let's get some violin, let's get some fiddle, let's get some organ, let's get some, and I have a list as long as I could have gone on forever. Okay. I would have put accordion and banjo, and we had some mandolin, like we did a bunch of stuff. And so in the end, I got to use all this orchestration. One of the songs has probably 55 tracks of cello on it. The arrangement, so. I'm
reminded by what you just mentioned of something that's done, it's called Play for Change, where you've got this huge multi-global, multi-continental effort where you've got musicians from everywhere. But one central musician is the one that starts and then usually ends. And they, if you do it on YouTube, they usually do cuts of cuts of the people performing so that they can actually make a video out of it. Mm-hmm. Which is pretty much what your album is. Mine is the video.
Yeah, pretty much. We cut the bass or the ghost tracks here to make sure that the frame of it and the structure was what we wanted. Mm-hmm. And then we sent it out and with a lot of instruction, and then it would come back, and then we continued to refine it, which is probably why it took so long.
Now, folks, just a reminder, this is the Sling Sisters band leader, Elanah, and the whole point of doing this interview is because of a brand new album, and also they're known or classified as blues, alternative folk, and Americana, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, no one can tell us. You tell us what we are. Like, you tell us what we are. It's really hard to say, and it's true. Yeah.
I think it's Nightcap. Nightcap is closer to the blues, but it's not fully. Some of the pieces are touched by the melancholy aspects of what blues might be, but they're not fully fleshed blues. They're more Americana, but although since you're Canadian, I always refer to it as Canadiana. But it's fantastic nonetheless. I mean, it's a nice flowing album from start to finish. There's no jagged edges. And it's the aspects of the actual album design as well. Mind you, I'm not looking at the physical, I'm just looking online and seeing how it's designed. Actually comes out great. So right now I'm using Spotify myself because it's easier for carrying purposes. But folks, if you want to support these artists, you know what to do. You can go visit the Sling Sisters website and you can purchase the items from there. Now, moving along to from the CD digital aspect, did you decide to do vinyl?
This is the 4th time I'm having this conversation this week. So I would love to do vinyl. I can't take you with me right now, but I have a vinyl collection, and that's where I come from. And the sound of vinyl and the depth and the richness, and again, don't get me started, but I would love to do vinyl. Vinyl's extraordinarily expensive. It just is. And so we are saving up our money, because we're self-financed for this. So, we had to make sure we covered everything else. So we're saving up our money to be able to do a vinyl run. And to do it right.
I can't wait to see how that's going to be. My heart pines for the fact that you have to have kind of out of pocket the project, but it'll be very appreciated by those that actually prefer vinyl. Sadly, I'm not one of them. Not because I don't want to. It's because I don't have the equipment yet. So, with all this, I'm assuming that you've been touring or doing gigs for the new album.
We have. So we actually wrote a lot of the material before we recorded it.
Okay.
And then so we've been playing around. The band is based in Cambridge, Ontario. So we've been playing stuff out that way. And so that's kind of where we have sat for now, recognizing that, we're working towards a tour coming out of the album launch. So the album launch, we went back to our old haunt that supported us all this time, which was, in one way, was beautiful because we were, this is a place that really found us in a different space, and they've just really supported us the whole time. The problem was, of course, that there were a lot more people who wanted to come than we could hold in that venue. So we're going to have to go and try something different back in Cambridge to see if we can, bring other people into this. And then we want to tour. We're going to look, we're looking at spots in Ottawa. I've played all over the place. So in Ottawa, Montreal, Kingston, we'll go out east. We're looking at places potentially out west later in the year. So.
Yeah, we need you out in the Maritimes.
Yeah, want to come. Yeah.
Eventually. That said, you've given us the details that we all needed to know, and the fact that this is the product, the love child of 3 talented musicians, plus the others that actually support you. Brent, what's his last name?
Mason.
Thank you. Who's from New Brunswick, and he was part of the project at one point. You and your fellow bandmates, as human beings, do you actually have time for hobbies?
What's a hobby? No, just kidding. Do you know what? We try to find balance. I mean, I'm always saying this. We try to find balance. Everybody's trying to find balance. But music for me is joy. Like, everything I do in my life, no joke, is joy. And so I don't feel like I need to go and do something different to get away. I love to read. I read all the time. So there's my little downtime away. I'm an introvert. I'm not an extrovert. So for me, I also need a minute or two to go off and recharge my batteries. But in reality, getting into a mix, I could do it for 15 hours and look up and I feel like it's an hour. So it's always that joy of creation and that joy of the sonic. There's just something that happens when you're involved in it. So. And
what about your other bandmates? Do you know their hobbies?
I do. So I know that Kelly really likes animals, and she keeps talking about wanting to get a horse. She lives in a very large property outside of Cambridge. And, Susie is also, like me, she just really is involved in music. That's all she does.
Okay. Well, I mean, everything is anything when it comes to a hobby. So a lot of the musicians tell me the same thing, that my music is my hobby. But then you've got people that have unique hobbies, like Jeff Arsenault from Nova Scotia, who's a bluesman. His hobby is building tiny houses. Or at least that's what he tells. He probably has some other things, but when I asked him, do you have a hobby, that's what he answered. Matt Anderson, barbecuing, using his green egg for smoking his meats.
Interesting. You know what then? Okay, I'll take it back. I might have a hobby. That's not musical. Last year, after many years, I used to ride a motorcycle.
Okay.
For many years I rode a motorcycle, so that would have been a hobby. And then about 3 or 4 years ago, it got stolen, so I've been moping around since then. And last year I finally made a decision. I bought myself an old beat-up sports car.
Okay.
So if I was going to have a hobby unrelated to music, it would be getting into this little thing. And I promise I don't speed. But it's really, that would be kind of like my other happy place.
Okay. Any restoration of the vehicle, or is it just driving the vehicle?
I'd like to say I'm just driving the vehicle. Like, I play my guitars. I have a collection of guitars, like 30 guitars. And so, same thing, but at some point you want to do some improvement. I'm not interested. It's It's an old, very old actually. It's an old hardtop convertible. As long as it functions, I'm okay.
Okay. So you've got a huge collection of guitars, which brings me to ask you, which of those guitars is your favorite?
Today?
Could be today, tomorrow. The one that you actually tend to go to 5 times out of, we'll say 4 times out of 5.
Today? So I think acoustic, for an acoustic, I have a very old, an old Takamine or Takamine or whatever you want to call it. It plays like an old Martin. It's a concert-sized guitar. It's very, very good, really pretty, and you could like really play it. You can really wang on it. So that's what I use mostly for an acoustic. I just bought another version of it because we only had 2. Me and Susie each have one. And so there's that. For an electric right now, typically I would play a Telecaster. I own a number of them out of the 31, whatever it is that I own. But these days I've been playing a Swamp Ash Stratocaster, American Strat, that's pretty and plays super well. And it's been my go-to. But, I find for me it depends on the project. Every project or every group, because I play in a number of things, it depends on what they need or what is called for.
Okay. String types that you might be using more often than not?
As in the company or the gauge?
Company and gauge.
So a lot of it will be D'Addario just because it's so readily available. So that's been the go-to. I use bullets on the Strat just because that's what it came with, and I really like the way it feels. And they're not expensive, so when I destroy them, which I do on the regular, where they get so disgusting, I have to change them quite frequently. So those will be, and those on that guitar I'm running 942s, 9-42, so really light gauge. Really light gauge. The acoustic is heavier, it's 1256, so it's an acoustic, so same thing D'Addario, but that type. And then I've been using some of the higher end D'Addario stuff, so they last a little longer, stay a little brighter. But inevitably, they all, you sweat, right, when you play.
Yeah, that's the enemy of the strings.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Any preference in the type of material for the strings? I know that some prefer nylon, some prefer steel, some prefer a mix of steel, and I think it's brass, depending on what they want.
It'd be mostly steel, regularly, whatever the regular composition is.
Okay.
Everybody has coated strings and all of this great stuff. I think it's awesome. I've used them before. I shred them, and so it doesn't help me. And I have just pieces of shred coming off the strings when I'm playing. That's not nice for me.
No.
Meaning no disrespect to anybody else who likes it. If that's what you dig, then off you go. Right? That's cool.
I don't play guitar. I dabbled way back when, and I gave up because my fingers weren't capable of. They weren't dexterous enough. So trying to do it, so Twinkle Twinkle the Star was as far as I got in the instructions. But I love people that know how to play guitars. It's just seeing their hands doing what they need to do to bring out a beautiful chord and then a counter chord and then doing tricks. I mean, it's fantastic. And the fact that you are 3 women doing this, well, at least 2 of the 3 doing this, plus Ben Mason, who plays guitar and he writes and he does a whole bunch of things. Now, with what you mentioned as hobbies, I'm trying to think of questions that I can ask, but I think you've pretty much answered every single one. I'll ask the question and you tell me if you know the other 2's favorite. So, what's your favorite food dish? Now, by that, I mean, if we gave you a big buffet of foods, but one particular is the one that you always go to first, which one would that be?
So, if it's just like you're on a desert island and you can only have one kind of food. So I love Asian food.
Okay.
Sushi would be my go-to.
Okay.
Sashimi, if I had to drill it down. I think Kelly's would be, it's almost like a game show. Do you know your spouse? But they're not, so Kelly's would probably be something to do with beef. She's always making a roast or a steak or something for her and her family.
Okay.
And I think Susie wouldn't be far behind. I think that's kind of where she would sit.
Okay.
Although she has this thing right now, she really likes yogurt. I don't know. It's a thing.
Yogurt is good in fine quantities, depending on if you're lactose intolerant or not. Is there anything you'd like to drop before we finish the interview?
I just want to say thank you. Like, this is really great. It's a really great conversation, and we really appreciate it, and I really appreciate it. So that's really what I want to say.
I appreciate it doubly because we were having technical issues at the beginning. Thank you for sticking, and thank you for accepting the invite to the show. And folks, a reminder, if you want to know more about these beautiful women, talented, versatile, go to the website for the Sling Sisters. They also have CDs for sale. Do you have any other merch currently?
Oh, yes, we have merch. We have all the stuff, the hats, the hoodies, the shirts, the stickers, all that stuff.
There's nothing better than a hoodie if you can finance it. Well, that's it, folks. Thank you, Elanah. It was really, really fun to have you. And I hope to see you guys here in the Maritimes very soon.
We hope to be there. Thank you so much.
Have a nice evening.
You too.